When you hear me say, hey, everyone gets $1,000 a month, you're like, wow, that sounds too good to be true. It is not too good to be true.
Yes, Andrew Yang does want to give us all $1,000 a month, no questions asked. And it's not too good to be true because he says it's not. Now, I will skip over the parts where Mr. Yang tells us how many famous scholars have endorsed the idea, or how many times it almost became law. I will also skip over his lengthy recitation of how automation is going to kill off 50% of the jobs in America, without his answering why those 50% of workers are just going to not find other work somewhere, as if $1,000 a month, at this point in economical reality, could really cushion long-term unemployment. So, okay, Mr. Yang, setting aside all of that, the brass tacks of the matter are the numbers. How exactly would you pay for it? Oh, sorry. I mean, how exactly would the rest of us pay for it?
So the way we fund this universal basic income is that we look up and see who's winning in an era of incredible innovations. Amazon, Google, Facebook, Uber. And then you look closer and you see Amazon paid literally zero in taxes in 2018. How is that possible? How could $1 trillion tech company pay less in federal taxes than you or your parents?
Because they follow the tax code, with all of its flaws and loopholes for those with the money to make the best use of them. I have to assume you're asking that question rhetorically. You're far too smart not to know the real answer, or think of it as some mystery of the ages. And if you want to address what you see as a disparity in the tax laws, well, you're going to have to work with Congress on that one. It is the legislative branch that crafts the laws, after all, not the executive branch.
And so the way we fund the freedom dividend is we join every other advanced economy in the world and have a value-added tax that then gives the American public a tiny slice of every Amazon sale, every Google search, every Facebook ad, every robot truck mile, and returns it to your pockets.
So it is a glorified rebate, profiting off the profits of certain companies? So even if I don't ever use Amazon, I will be profiting off their work and their innovation and their business model. Even if I go completely green and never buy a tank of gas, I will be profiting off of Exxon's exploitation of natural resources. In short, someone else does all of the work, and I get paid for it, socializing the profits of specific private businesses based on, I can only assume, overall value of a company. And you're going to do this by adding to the tax code. You're not going to try and fix the tax code that allows Amazon to pay, as you said, zero in taxes. Got it.
And there is one state that's had a dividend for almost 40 years where everyone in that state gets between $1,000 and $2,000 a year, no questions asked. Do you know what state that is? It's Alaska. And Alaska funds it with oil money. And what I'm saying to you is that technology is the oil of the 21st century. And what they're doing for Alaskans with oil money, we can do for all Americans with technology money.
Alaskan oil rests within the sovereign territory of Alaska. By all rights, the land and the oil beneath it belongs to Alaska. So if Alaskans want to make oil companies pay a premium to have access to their land and their resources and then profit from it, that is entirely Alaska's privilege. Technology innovation is not a natural resource. Amazon could do its business anywhere on the planet where they can find a good internet connection. You're proposing to tax the profits on ideas and on labor that are not sedentary physical resources. Alaska is not at all a good analogy for what you are proposing.
And here's the great thing. When you get that money, you spend it, it circulates through the economy over and over again. We get back hundreds of billions of dollars in new revenue as a result.
Well, you're assuming people are going to spend it. But what do people actually do? Well, more often than not, they save it. Take, for example, the Bush administration's Economic Stimulus Act of 2008 that sent a one-time check of up to $1,200 to 2 adult households. After a year, only about 1/3 of people had actually spent the money. The rest saved it or invested it. And there's nothing to say that the American people today, well aware of the tenuous nature of our economic stability, and with your wheeling and dealing more than aware of how quickly such a boon might be reversed in the Senate or by the Supreme Court, there is no guarantee that they won't do exactly the same thing and save all of this free money for a rainy day. You are guessing, Mr. Yang.
We also save money on things like incarceration, homelessness services, emergency room healthcare.
What? Criminals are just going to stop committing crimes? So, are convicted felons going to be receiving free money as well? Does that sound right to you? Homeless people are going to just stop being homeless? Where are their checks going to be mailed to? How will free money break whatever circumstances, addictions, or mental health issues that led them there in the first place? I have so many questions.
And we have a population that's healthier, mentally healthier, better educated, more productive. So this is going to pay for itself in a way that will benefit us all.
It's going to pay for itself by taxing specific companies. And you know what I hear when someone says, it'll pay for itself? I picture Donald Rumsfeld and Paul Wolfowitz during the lead up to the Iraq War promising the country that the war would be undertaken on the cheap, and that the long-term benefits from Iraqi oil would essentially have the war and the country's reconstruction pay for itself. And look at how that worked out. So, sorry, Mr. Yang, that sales pitch is a red flag to me, not a green light.
This is the trickle-up economy, and it starts with universal basic income of $1,000 a month for every American adult starting in 2021, and that is why I'm running for president.
If it sounds too good to be true, then it's probably something a politician promised you. Yeah, I know. Andrew Yang isn't technically a politician. He's a businessman. And that was his sales pitch. And it leaves me with far more questions than his proposal answered. So, as a result, insofar as his getting my vote on the basis of this singular platform, I have to say, no sale. As always, thank you for watching.